Sup, Net? Kirk FM. Let's talk comics. This is weird. We're going to do a live stream, and I don't know what else to say except that if you're wondering why we're doing this live as opposed to when I used to just make videos, I'll get to that later on at the end of the video. I don't know what else to say except that if you're wondering why we're doing this live as opposed to when I used to just... See, I thought I closed that window. Whoops. Sorry, guys. You're going to get that. But we're going to talk about the top 5 comics, my top 5 comics of this week, this past February 17th. They came out on Wednesday. If you didn't know that, welcome to the world of comic books. Comics come out on Wednesday. It's like your drug dealer actually scheduling a regular day for you every week. And it's very, very convenient, let me tell you. I am going to post the link one more time, and then we're going to dive right into it. So let's see. We are copying a link. Copy. And then we go over to Twitter because I really hate Facebook. And, you know, that's a thing. Live now. Don't you just love technology? It's a little... Yeah, actually, when you start to think about it, like the more you start building a brand and trying to find the community that you're trying to communicate with and be a part of, you start opening pages and Snapchats and Instagrams, and it kind of starts becoming a little self-serving. It's a little strange. But unfortunately, if you want to build a community, you want to reach out to the people that you want to talk about the things you love. This is kind of the way you have to do it. And that has been tweeted. And yeah, so we're going to talk comic books. I'm just going to stand here and sing. I don't know if you guys knew this, but back when we used to do the regular edited videos, this was actually what I would do in between shots, and my poor editor had to be like, dude, stop singing, stop dancing. You get to see all that stuff now. You lucky guys. That's just great. Yes, souls, we're going to minimize that, and we're going to do a fucking internet show. Anyway, so what this thing is all about is I'm going to tell you about my top 5 comic picks of the week. And there'll be a little, like, you know, commentary. And also, please join the chat. I think that's a thing that we can do over here. Because last week, if you saw, we were actually kind of, like, working out different, like, ways we could do the live stream. So I've definitely figured out, like, to mute this thing and kind of keep that chat going. And that's really, really awesome. And we'll work the bugs out later. Fuck it. I'm also going to buy a new camera soon and other things and stuff. So how do I do this? If I make videos, right, but I don't want you to make any sound. I'll get to... Now I've got a chat window. Fuck yes. Singing and dancing. Gotta love it. Sean Robert, what's up? Ian, hi. That's awesome. Did you do this all just reorganizing your entire window just to figure out what the fuck you're doing? This is great. This is awesome. I am so happy. Boom. I got this. Alrighty, guys. Let's get right into it. Top 5 this week. So number 6 on my list is Archie. Don't give me any of a hard time. I love Archie. It didn't make the top 5, but it's still a great series, and I don't know why you're not reading it. It just feeds like that sweet little, I just need my drama. I need like the soap opera that I'm missing from my X-Men. I'm getting it in Archie. And by the way, Archie and Veronica, totally dating now. Oh my God. Betty's not really in the picture. And over in the Jughead series, Chips Zdarsky from Sex Criminals, we'll talk about that later in the next show, is writing an awesome Jughead who just came out as asexual, but not necessarily came out. The entire school already knew. Throw him a hamburger, the man's happy. Anyways, Archie, pick it up. Mark Waid writing that. Okay, now we're getting back into it. Number 5 this week, I am going with Spider-Woman. What issue is this? Number 4 is by Dennis Hopeless and Rodriguez on the art. The art still is killer. It feels very pop. I fucking love it. On top of that, Hopeless has really kind of figured out how to write really great, strong female characters. His Captain Marvel, badass, not to mention her relationship with Jessica in this series has been just spot on, and it's totally built on what all the other writers previously have created that relationship to be, and I am fucking loving it. Hold on, let's show some art off in this crappy webcam. Singing and dancing. Singing and dancing. just wow them with singing and dancing. What do I want to show you? I want to show you that in just a few panels, not with a whole lot of words, but just how badass his Captain Marvel is in this Spider-Woman series. You wouldn't think that's a good thing, but it totally is. Also, I can honestly say this is probably one of the coolest, raddest comics I've ever seen, because Jessica, she is pregnant. She has gone off to like this intergalactic special birthing place, and it's like also situated in the middle of a sun. It got overran by well, Kree warriors. Was it Kree or was it the, I forgot, aliens? And she's actually like 9 months pregnant, and now they've invaded this like maternity ward, and they're hunting down to kidnap a sick prince from another culture. And sure enough, Spider-Woman cannot like just stand by and watch everything, so she hops into the action. Last issue, everything was awesome. She was kicking ass, had to go on this amazing journey. At the end of that issue, water breaks, and now she's having a kid. And this issue kicked all sorts of fucking ass. I'll tell you why. Not only does she have a really quick birth, because the doctors are like, we'll make this as quick and painless as possible. And she's like, great, that's awesome. But by the way, after I have the kid, how quickly can you stitch me up? Because we still got an army coming our way. And this scene, it's, you know, you get emotional and it's kind of cool. But this kicked all the ass. She has her baby, and it's pretty goddamn amazing. And then what happens? She's straight up like, okay, sew me up. Time to go to work. And I lost my shit. I just wanted to show you that part, but the whole action sequence that happens after that of her taking care of business immediately after having birth, it's a really powerful issue. A lot of people have been putting down this series because they didn't like the status quo change for Jessica. Me, personally, I love it. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with a street-level superhero like Jessica, who gave up being the Avengers and just kind of went the other direction to try to make as normal of a life as possible. And this is a really great, fun series, especially like next issue, she's now officially a single mom. We still don't know who the dad is yet, but by the way, don't ask her because she might punch your lights out. Guys, great issue. Go pick it up. More singing and dancing. Okay, so we're going to go with number 4 this week. Jason Aaron, freaking Thor, number 4. But before I get into this too much, guess what? We've got another show starting right after this at 7 o'clock. It's called Your Mom's Basement. And it's going to be with me and my friend Ian and my friend Savannah. And we're actually going to talk about the Thor series. So tune in for that, and I'll tell you what happens in this thing. But that was number 4 this week, Jason Aaron. By the way, the art in this series alone, that's what you should be checking out. It's kicking all the ass in this one. Do that. And then number 3 this week, I'm going to move some of this stuff over. This is a little weird because I've got the chat. We got this stuff. Yes, that's working a little better. Hello. This is still really weird. Still really weird. Okay, cool. So we're going to go number 3 this week. You know, I talk about this series a lot. And guys, I'm sorry. It seems like there's a lot of Marvel going on. And I'm not going to lie. This week, Marvel kind of killed it with the releases. Also, not a lot of indie comics that happened that really wowed me. Someone offered me a couple of suggestions. I read those, and I was like, I want to see where those series go. Nothing kind of like really stood out. But Marvel releases, abso-fucking-lutely. So number 3 this week, we are going with Silver Surfer number 2. When I say number 2, this is the new relaunch ever since the all new, all different. But one of the great things about this series, it's still Dan Slott writing the series. It is still Mike Allred art, which is so goddamn drool worthy. I mean, it really, 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 really is. So if you've never watched an episode of Doctor Who, but you're reading this comic book, surprise, you're now officially a Doctor Who fan, because that's how Dan Slott is writing this comic. Essentially, you've got the Surfer, and he has now picked up a human companion, but we're just going to say friend, and her name is Dawn. And if you're a big Whovian fan like I am, it kind of kills you, because one of the best things that the Doctor ever said was when Amy Pond was his companion, "Come along, Pond." And there's been some really great scenes in this comic book where he says, "Come along, Dawn." And you just want to like punch the cutest thing next to you, because it's just amazing. Right now we are watching Silver Surfer. He is now back on Earth. He's learning about his, we're not going to say companion because that's Doctor Who. We're learning about Dawn's family life and how she does in her family, and like the things that she loves in her life that make her life special. And it's because Norrin Radd, who's a Silver Surfer, he has seen everything in the universe. Like, he's been everywhere, and he's kind of bored with Earth, and he's just kind of wondering when like he's gonna be able to get back on the board and go surf the solar waves and do his thing out in the universe. And the truth is, Dawn kind of has to bring him back down to her level and just kind of take him through a day of going to the beach and going to her favorite lighthouse, and then going to play like her favorite novelty, you know, like skee ball, but it's kind of like you know, Jersey Shore bowling. And these were little things that Norrin had never actually been exposed to. And it was just a great, sweet, just a sweet story, just a little bit more grounded, especially considering how big in scope Silver Surfer has been. I also really love this series because when we talk about all new, all different, we were really worried that Marvel was actually going to like change a lot of the stuff that we were already loving from before Secret Wars. And the best thing about this is if it's not broke, don't fix it sort of situation. And they haven't. They are letting Allred and Slott continue telling their story the way they want. And it's just fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, Ben Grimm from the Fantastic Four actually is the guest in this issue. And it's really great because, as a lot of you are kind of learning, there's no Fantastic Four anymore. Ben Grimm is off with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Also, Johnny Storm is now an Avenger on one of those teams. Things we'll talk about in other future episodes. But as we meet Grimm, turns out he's like become the unwitting pawn of like an invading space armada. And that's exactly the type of thing that Norrin Radd, the Silver Surfer, totally takes care of. So it's just a really fun story. It's very big in the fact that it deals with the power cosmic and all the different worlds and galaxies and universes that exist within the Marvel Universe. But every time you think you're going to get overwhelmed by the story, it really does come back down to a very grounded story and what the themes are. And it's just an absolutely sweet comic, and I'm really glad that it's been this consistent. Like, if I was actually going to give this thing a grade, this issue definitely B. Issue 1 was a A+ for sure. It was a great way to restart the series. Guys, please go give Silver Surfer a chance. It's one of those titles that I absolutely think that, even though you don't think you would be into it, because of how well it's being written, how great Allred's art is, it's going to make you a believer. Go check it out. And then number 2 this week, we are going to go with, I'm really stoked with this one. Again, more Marvel. Sorry about that, guys. Power Man and Iron Fist, number 1. Let me get the creators right on this, because I actually didn't know a lot of these guys. So you're looking at David Walker. He is the writer. Also, Sanford Green, the artist. I do need to give the shout out to Lee Luridge. I hope I'm getting that name right. His color on this title is absolutely really cool. And let's talk about this. Power Man and Iron Fist, they are the original heroes for hire. And we've seen both those characters kind of go off and do different things in the Marvel Universe. And every time they kind of, you know, cross paths again in other titles, we as like older fans go, oh yeah, all right, sweet, we got the gang back together for a minute. And they've never actually really had a team title again, especially considering also Andrew Carr, he did a really great solo Iron Fist story. I really encourage people to go check that out because he did the art and the story in that. It was a very solemn man on a journey, rediscovering himself story. Also, motherfucking Luke Cage has had a pretty awesome trajectory in the Marvel Universe as far as once he was part of the Marvel Knights series, and that was a very, very parental advisory title called Cage. And then he started showing up in Alias, which was actually the Jessica Jones title that introduced the character Jessica Jones. And that was very dark because it really stuck to those Marvel Knights roots. And then we started to watch that relationship like completely blossom. Then we had Jessica Jones and we had Luke Cage, and we had them dealing with their problems and having a kid. So that seems like the perfect normal family in this day and age, and I kind of loved it. On top of that, the reason why I'm watching this series very, very closely is that anytime you're going to mess with my girl Jessica and you're going to throw her into a title, because that's essentially what we're going to have to look at with Luke Cage, fucking awesome. I really enjoyed just their relationship. Other things that we do need to talk about in this series, reasons why I'm giving it the #2 slot this week. One, the way Danny Rand is being written in this series. He's a little bit more laid back. I don't want to say his attitude is so much like bro, but it's definitely a lot more like he almost reminds me of like a not as cocky, tired Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four. And I'm really kind of enjoying that he's really more excited to like hang out with Luke again instead of being like the Zen master dude. And one of the other things that I'm really enjoying with this series is that we have a new, very cool, very all new, dapper looking Luke Cage. I have really enjoyed how they've done the character design with this guy. He's not necessarily in the big fro and the tiara anymore, which they actually kind of make some jokes about, thanks to Jessica Jones in this series. The reason why I'm really into the new dapper look of Luke Cage, it really means that this creative team has a lot to say about who Luke Cage is, and they definitely respect what the character has done and how that character has grown. And I really feel like the new dapper, like with the vest and kind of like, you know, he's like executive badass. I think that's the look we're going to call that. Definitely shows respect to who the character is. Also works very well with this art style that the comic is going with. And definitely shows the evolution of the character throughout the Marvel Universe in the last 15 years. And I think that's fucking rad, especially for anybody who's a fan of Luke Cage in the old years. Guys like me. It's like watching like one of Batman's Robins grow up and turn into Nightwing, and then them totally like fucking destroying the character. Sorry, my bad. But anyways, I digress. Other reasons why I think you should pick up this title. The style and the dialogue and kind of like the swaggery that this thing has really reminds me of old Brian Wood titles like DMZ, like Channel Zero, like the Couriers with I can't remember the artist's name. I want to say Ali G, but that's not it. It's like Brian G or something. I have to go back and look at that. But like those older, when Brian Wood was doing like more indie, more I don't want to say urban, but more contemporary, as far as like they understood the street vibe of what New York, whatever, like more like metropolitan cities were like. That's the vibe I'm getting from this thing. There's just a certain amount of swagger in it, and I'm really fucking digging it. So I'm definitely gonna give this series a chance. As far as the first issue goes, I'm definitely gonna go B+ on this because I thought it was a great introductory title. But you know, first issues are always gonna get like a higher grade for me if you knock it out of the park so well in the first issue. But watching the consistency, I'm all about consistency. So if you can keep that energy going, I'm really excited for that. Okay, so if you remember in the older videos, we used to have a disappointment of the week, and I actually do not have a comic per se, but I'm gonna do a little disappointment of the week commentary. Truth is, this week DC Comics just announced that they are rolling out the Rebirth new event, and basically Rebirth is gonna not be a reboot. We're not saying reboot, but we are definitely saying that we're going to take what we've noticed is missing from the DC universe and try to put it back. And some of you who are like longtime comic book readers were going, man, I totally remember Rebirth. And they did it with Green Lantern. They did it with Flash. And those actually turned out to be very, very successful. And they really did find like the core of what made those comics and those characters work. And those were titles that and characters that people were not reading, didn't really care about. And it really did bring them back. I mean, Jesus Christ. We won't talk about that movie, but we will talk about like the Flash TV show, which kind of really encompasses the essence of that old Rebirth that they did. So DC's going, hey, guess what? That worked. You guys are missing something. We want to bring back that old flavor from the old universe. We've brought back the multiverse. We're now trying to bring better creative teams in to tell better stories, but we'll still work with the continuity a little bit. This is where my problem is. This is why I say this is a disappointment of the week. I'm happy to see the refocusing of DC Comics into this. I'm really glad that they are recognizing that something does need to be done. I do think it is very much they are aware on the publishing side that something's not clicking, and I'm glad they're trying to fix that. Unfortunately, and I'm glad it's not a reboot, but what I really think was we got a lot of rhetoric, we got a lot of PR press, and what they tried to slide underneath to the readers was that it's actually a whole new shipping and merchandising schedule, and they called that an event. And I think that's very insulting. What you have to understand is that a lot of their main titles, they're Batmans, they're Supermans, and there are going to be multiple versions of those characters in different titles. Instead of just being once a month, we'll go bi-weekly. I hope I'm using that term right. But essentially, that'll mean every 2 weeks, you will get a Batman title. And they're holding steadfast to the fact that the titles will only be $2.99 an issue. That sounds really cool, but let me start to dig a little bit deeper. So instead of paying $3.99 or $4.99 a month just to get your one Batman title that you really love from a great creative team that is firing on all fours trying to give you the best story, now that creative team has to work twice as hard to put out 2 issues a month. And yeah, they're going to keep it at $2.99, but you as the reader now have to fork over a couple extra bucks more every month to keep up with those stories because God forbid, DC is now telling you continuity matters, consistency matters, and you need to stay on board to see what we're gonna do with these characters. I think this is going to be a litmus test. We'll see what works and what doesn't. That's what DC is really known for, and they throw a lot of stuff at the wall. And I'm afraid that this will lower the quality of the titles being released. I am afraid that readers will get frustrated. They are shilling out more money a month. Yes, obviously, I am very excited to get that much, story from my creative teams. But at the same time, I'm also very self-aware of the fact that making a comic book is something that I don't know how to do. And when I researched it, holy shit, the amount of hours, time, effort, work, back-breaking posture that a lot of the writers have to, or excuse me, a lot of the artists have to maintain in order to get that much art out to meet their demands and their deadlines is insane. For a writer to be constantly coming up with ideas like that, and on top of that, the editorial team working twice as hard to make sure that they're telling the best story they can twice a month, I'm afraid they're going to lower the quality of what they're already putting out. So we will see. But that is my disappointment, but it's more of a commentary, and I'm really, really, really hoping that they shape it up and they kind of figure out what they're doing. That said, we are going to the #1 title this week, and that means I need some water really quickly because I might pass out. That was a lot. Live, guys. Live. This is going to be on the internet forever until I delete it. I'm kind of terrified. Yeah. I'm excited. There's 6 of you watching. I think that's a great first #1. I can't wait until this goes up. Like I said, please comments down below after the video is officially on the YouTube page. And definitely want to hear thoughts and opinions, where I got it right, where I got it wrong. What are you reading? What should I be reading? Are you digging this? I will get a better camera. Give me some advice because I've never fucking done any of this before. That said, I did a lot of Marvel, kind of shit talk DC a little bit this week. #1 this week. Watch out so I don't spill the camera and the laptop over. American Alien, Superman, Max Landis, #4. Love him or hate him, I think you need to give credit where credit is due. Max Landis is definitely curating an awesome alternative story to what makes Clark Kent decide to become Superman. And I know a lot of people are going to give me shit, and I really don't give a fuck. As a writer, I really, really, really do appreciate what Max Landis puts in there. I also really do like a lot of his commentary and his critiques and criticisms, because you might not always agree with him, but he definitely challenges you to think a little bit harder and a little bit deeper to come up with a better argument, and so that you kind of really understand your stance or point of view on whatever it is he's talking about. That said, that's why this works great with this title, because I'm really loving the fact that it's happening outside of regular Superman canon. It's not really attached to anything else. He's kind of building his own new universe. And Superman needed this. I think for somebody who I really do love as a character, but has sometimes gotten milquetoast stories from some writers who don't really understand the character, this has been really fucking awesome. Also, other reasons why I'm definitely enjoying this series. He has decided that he's going to do a different artist for every issue, and it's only a mini run, but every artist has been handpicked, so you can see exactly that their art works perfectly for the time frame in which it's happening in Clark's life, which is perfect. It's actually not taking you out of the world. You would think that you won't want consistency in the art style. Nope. Actually, switching artists up is only making this story even better. Other things I want to talk about. The artist for this title is Jay Lee. Jay Lee, if you guys remember, I think he came on the scene with Hellshock and Image, and probably even sooner before that. That was during the 90s. And there's something about this title that is really showing off the growth of who Jay Lee is as an artist over the last 15 years. And he's definitely come in. He still always had his distinct style, one that's very specifically his. But it is definitely matured, refined. And when he puts out art like this, I want him on more titles doing this stuff. This might be etched into my brain right now as the definitive how I see Lex Luthor. Which, by the way, as Max introduces Luthor in this series, this is a very, very cool, very self-made, very scary aware. He's very self-aware. And I like the fact that he knows exactly what words to pick depending upon the matter that he's talking on. And then he'll even almost commentate on what he just said like a few seconds ago. And like I said, it's a scary awareness. If Grant Morrison's Joker had a case of super sanity, where it wouldn't be on sanity to the point where he almost knew that he was a comic book character. This Lex Luthor is very, very aware of the fact that he is probably the perfect human specimen, and it's because he's built himself up to be that. He saw what humans were, and he went, that's great, I can do better. And that's who he is. He's a very, very confident, very, very, I keep using the word self-made, and I love that. That's probably the scariest, if you're going to call Lex a villain in this series, I think that is the scariest villain. I think it's a very self-aware, self-made villain. I definitely loved Landis as he actually handled, in spoilers, but Dick Grayson makes an appearance in this series, in this issue, I should say. Excellently well done. You can see it's a younger Dick as he's trying to hone his detective skills. That whole scene, I'm not going to give it away. I want you to pick up this series. I want to pick up this issue just for that scene alone. Because the cool thing is, even if you're not a fan of Superman or the writer or anything, you can still pick this issue up and it works. What am I going to say here? Compartmentalized, like it's a module. It works by itself. But as far as like the entire overlaying run, it all fits together. Please, 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 please pick this up. I'm definitely giving this a #1, and I've been watching the series every month. This is consistently one of the best Superman stories I have read recently. And it's definitely blown anything that's come out in the last 5 years out of the water. Guys, definitely pick this run up. Now, here's the part where I have to tell you guys that I never thought a Superman title would ever be a #1 on the top 5. That's how great it is. So, why are we doing a live show? Well, essentially, a couple of things happened in the last few months. A couple of friends and I, we decided to get together, and we are starting our own comic book review website with podcasts, live shows, other types of different content that we're going to do. Also, we are building the website as we speak. I just got a text from our coder and programmer. The beta version went live. Don't go online yet because it's just a lot of gibberish and placeholders and doesn't make any sense. But oh my God, is the site very sexy, very contemporary, easy to navigate, looks great on your phone, and will feature comic books. So it's called Deus Ex Comica. It will be coming to you in the next couple of months. We're going to start doing a soft open. You'll definitely see us around for WonderCon, and you'll definitely see us for San Diego Comic-Con, which, by the way, those registration tickets went on sale yesterday, and I really, 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 really hope that you guys made it. And if you didn't, don't worry. You can live vicariously through me because I got a motherfucking professional badge. I will be at San Diego Comic-Con with the cool badge going all over the place doing my Wayne's World impersonation. Oh my God. Hi, VIP, 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 and then I will be wasted at the hotel lobby bar. It'll be fucking fantastic. In any case, so that's why we're doing the live shows. Basically, if we start doing the live shows, I don't have to sit down and edit a video anymore. Between having a normal job and also trying to start this other like career and like second business, editing is not a thing anymore. Also, thanks to my friends Ian and Savannah, stay tuned because in a half hour we're going to do our new show, Your Mom's Basement. It's actually going to be a interactive live show. Think of it as a interactive book club. We're going to pick a couple titles every week, every 2 weeks or so once we figure out the schedule, and we will talk about them in depth. And it won't necessarily be just current stuff. It'll be anything that we have read collectively that has really impacted us that we wanted to fucking nerd out over, because I discovered the three of us actually really did have the same tastes in comics, but don't necessarily have the same opinion in those comics. And I thought that would make some really great conversation. Also, that's why we're doing an interactive show, because once you guys start picking up those comics and starting caught up with us, we'll talk about them in the chat, and it'll be like an interactive book club. And I really, really think that's going to be one of the best ways to get new readers into motherfucking comics, because that's what the industry needs right now. There's a lot of great stories coming out, so we fucking need that. So that's coming up in a half hour. Don't worry, that will also be recorded, and that will be posted later onto the page. Guys, welcome back to my fucking YouTube. We'll start building these shows up, and as we start getting more viewers, and hopefully as you guys start to like this, we will move this over to a new page. So you guys are getting in on the ground floor now. Comments down below. Find me at Kirk Likes Stuff. Like I said, show me in the comments some love. Tell me what you're reading. Tell me what I should read. By the way, stick around, because sometimes we might give out comic codes so that you can get digital downloads. Also, maybe you can be a part of the show. Yeah, we should totally invite some of you guys in. So as you start to build up the little comic community that we're going to be a part of, maybe once in a while during some Twitter conversations, be like, would you like to do an episode of my little comic book show? But until then, every week on Sunday, 6 o'clock, you're going to get the Comic Book Top 5 live by Kirk FM. And I am talking a shit ton. I will shut the fuck up now. As always, when you make it this far in the video, it means a lot to me. It means that you are showing love for the comic book community. It means you're a part of it. I am glad that we were building this up, and I will find you guys later. Don't laugh at me while I try to figure out how to turn this off. See you guys next week. And in a half hour, other show. See you guys. Bouncy, 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 bouncy. Bye.